About our Olympic legacy this morning, inspiration for the future. That's what the Olympics is meant to represent. But we've got Nikki Sinclaire as an independent MEP saying that sports facilities in Aston, at least, are comparable to those in Gaza. So how is it for you, your local swimming pool, your local football field? If you want to take up some of the Olympic events, if you feel inspired, if your kids or your grandchildren feel inspired, have they got the opportunities on their doorstep to take advantage of the kinds of sports that they might want to try out? 08453 00 9956. Are Birmingham and the Black Country well placed to take advantage of the Olympic legacy? And as I say, if you've got something going on in your local area that you want other people to know about, they might be able to get involved in doing a bit of sport, feel free to share it with us. So, Nikki, you're saying that, in your view, certainly in Birmingham, this isn't confined just to inner city areas like Aston. There are other more affluent areas where sporting facilities appear to be in decline. But people will look at the great new swimming baths and gym in Harborne. That's a plus, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, someone told me about this the other day, but the other thing is about accessibility and cost. I mean, the situation with Aston, where it's one of the most poorest areas of the United Kingdom, you need to there's no point building these great big brand new gyms and swimming pools if the cost is prohibitive to the local residents. We need to make, especially for children, sport provision as cheaply as possible, if possible, even free. Because, we've got a terrible problem in this country with obesity, and, this is the way of dealing with it. When I was a kid, we were always skipping outside, there was always football matches happening, etc., etc. You don't see that no more. And we need to engage young people. And again, in that area, we've had a year ago, and in surroundings, these terrible riots. Sport is a way of bringing communities together. And, and I'm a big believer in sport. I grew up as a very sporty person, and I do believe it's a way of forging people together. And I think that the local council are ignoring this as a way forward.
And Nikki, we have put a call into Birmingham City Council, invited them onto the programme, still awaiting a response. You're heading off then to Downing Street today with people who are trying to protect the Aston Arena, formerly the Aston Villa Leisure Centre, and I know we've spoken to people who've had that cause in mind on this programme previously. You're going to Downing Street with that local charity to try and preserve the Aston Arena for local sporting use.
Well, this is really taking the message to David Cameron, because he talks about the big society, and he talks about getting involved in your local community, and here you have, as a local charity, is put together, and what I've looked at it, and other people looked at it, is a feasible plan. You've this arena which has got a repair covenant by ASDA for another 62 years. You've also got other agencies, charities willing to get involved to help preserve this. Why would we want to knock this down in order to have another business park, which there's adequate land elsewhere in that area to use? Why would you want to knock down something like that where it costs absolutely millions to build this provision in the first place?
Nikki,
why don't we utilise that for the future?
Nikki, good to speak to you. Thank you. Independent member of the European Parliament, Nikki Sinclaire. It's a good question, isn't it? If Aston Arena is providing sports facilities in an inner city area, especially, as Nikki says, a year on from the riot, I mean, most people would recognise, wouldn't they, that, being positively channelled into sporting activities, even if you're not going to become an Olympian, would be a good way to steer people rather than letting them hang about the streets, possibly getting involved in trouble when riots kick off. 08453 00 9956.